And if you have any questions, kindly send it to our comment sections. So Data Protection Act of so GDPR applied to Europe countries. DP, which is applied to Singapore from Europe or from here in PDPA. So disclaimer, and we are here to help you. And as your finger, all your data will be internet. We have a lot of advanced markets data or informations that are we even aware, like our clients from data privacy and meet the they know a lot about us that we sometimes, and if we are not careful in identity theft and misuse of our data, have some consequence also. And in this technology that we have, what will you experience that or by our cell phone tool will pop out? This is why we data privacy law for our security. And also, don't be just go with the free editors. Sometimes we don't usually check the privacy settings or what does it do. Some of these applications is still our location checking online. So is implemented. Individual, it is implemented, that is collected. Especially go to jail because you estimate fines is violation that is breach. There are also categories that they will base with the penalty if the data breach is. We will discuss about personal data processing flow. So what are the flows when it should be adequate? We are collecting the data. We should clearly clarify to the data subject why do we need to collect the data, how are we going to use it, and their data. Next is usage or use. In marketing, without big data analytics, trying to improve customer loyalty and engagement, optimize the performance, or make pricing decisions, big data in marketing has proven research and interpret by someone before it can be used for insight. No matter what kind of data you're talking about, it is very important also that the data collector knows where the data will be used properly. In choosing cloud services, there are some important decisions or clarifications that you need to decide first before going to it. First is you should know the security capabilities. It is one of the major factors holding businesses owners back. The storage provider, it's safe. When you pick a cloud storage provider, make sure that they have sufficient security measures. This includes antivirus softwares, data encryptions, firewalls, and routine safety audits. Next is price concerns for many companies, very competitive. Next is data storage location, stores your data, how it can be controlled. Natural disaster, save your data in case of emergency strike. Next is service that will be stored. Variety of other important items critical to know what a prospective cloud vendor can expect from them. Next is tech support. No technology is perfect, and problems will arise from time to time. When this happens, it's helpful to know who you can contact once you need some assistance. So before choosing a vendor or a cloud service provider, find out how they handle tech support. Ask them when they'll be available, if they'll be available, how quickly they respond to a concern or problems. A vendor does not meet these needs may be one that's best avoided. Records for a designated period of time. There are many numbers of reasons why a business might need to retain data. Sometimes federal laws, to comply with the industry regulations, to ensure that the information is easily accessible and discovery and digitation purpose and so on. To fulfill this and other businesses requirements, it's imperative and that every deletion, distraction, Making sure that deletion and destruction of the data is properly taken care of, and make sure that there is no possibility. There are the few definition of terms that we need to understand in role. What are their roles in data privacy law? First is data protection officer. Data protection officer who will be responsible for the overall compliance of the company in data privacy law. We call COP, or compliance of privacy in branches. But all of many PIC and PIP, which I will discuss later, but there's only one DPO. Next position is personal. Next is the personal information processor, the one who will responsible, the one who will process the information. That's I talked earlier. Sometimes it's a cloud servers, or sometimes on a person. Next is a data subject. This is you and me regarding our information, such as age, name, gender, email addresses, or any informations that points back to us. So what are data subject rights? These are the common rights that an individual or data subject should know. Sometimes we are doing it already, but we are not aware that it is per law. So here we are. First is right to be informed. As a data subject, you should have the right to be informed that your personal data is being, or was collected and processed. Once data collector collected our data, you should know the purpose or dispose it once so they are done with their data. One way of collecting data is called express consent. Example of this is giving your credit card, your blood pressure, and with just we have the implied consent, but it is urgent or in you agree. These are also what we call cookies. This is kind of consent also that collects our data and information, where when we click the cookies or the statement below or above that certain website, it means that we are giving our consent to you. This is your right to find whether an organization description of the kind of information that they have about you, as well as their purpose for holding them. For example, once a company or arts of whatever details they have on you, sometimes we just need to check if the data collected is accurate or not. Next is right to correct or rectify. You have the right to dispute and have corrected any inaccuracy or error in the data that a personal information controller or the PIC holds about you. Example of this is in your name and any information like birth dates. You can request the company to do it and have them updated. You have the right to suspend, withdraw, or order the blocking, removal, or destruction of your personal data. You have the right to remove certain your data in a certain projects, and that you doesn't want to. Next is right to object. If the personal interest, the right to object is most specifically applicable when organization of personal information controllers are processing your data research and you don't want to be a part of it, so you can say no. Once the data collector is taking your data, the PIC is based on consent or on legitimate interest. Personal information controllers are processing your data without your consent for the following purpose. Example, they will use your data in health research. You have the right to say no, or to whatever purpose they want to use it. Another thing is direct marketing. If you have a chance, you may assert your right to object verbally, be in it person or via, you can do it in person, execute a written request. Next is right to copy or transfer your data in a secure manner for further use. For example, if you want to consult or ask another to give it to another doctor. In banking, the right to data portability may be used to reduce the risk of customer experience. Next is right to complain. If you feel that your data privacy rights has been involved, you have the right to file a complaint with the organization or company. And if you are not satisfied with the result, you can go further to the higher ups, which is the commissioners, to file a complaint. Damages due to inaccurate, incomplete, outdated, false, unlawfully obtained, or unauthorized use of personal misuse, or because of the inaccurate data, your reputation is damaged, you can file a complaint against the company or against the organization in order to be compliant with Data Privacy Act. Here are the 5 pillars of compliance. So how do we comply with DPA? First is we need to be responsible for the overall compliance. The company is complying. Be employed as a is convenience to you. A company should understand that in case of breach and without proper management of data, be punished or will be fined. Flexible and reliable and expert in the field that he or she will be working to. Next is privacy potential impacts. Initiative as necessary to treat the privacy risk. Every company should conduct a privacy impact assessment where company will privacy, which section involves also all the stakeholders who are part of the company and identify which part they were involved. Employees should be aware of how to handle the PII or personally identifiable information. Most of the time, data controllers and processors are the one who is with the data privacy principles and upholds the rights of data subject, both of which are laid out in the Data Privacy Act. In Privacy Manual, indicated the process once the data subject has a complaint should be available also and can in most cases implementing the procedures or not paying much the personal data. So in implementing privacy and security measures, organizations should conduct employees trainings to help maintain the privacy impact assessment to lessen the threat of breach and conduct penetration testings, especially if there are new products for security, if it is really useful or not. The last pillar is data response team will conduct the and what are the necessary safety measures to minimize breaches. And as I discussed earlier, educate employees about the importance of Data Privacy Act and have a regular backup. So if business running, it is better to be may occur or higher penalties. So if a certain data is not needed anymore, you should learn how to dispose or delete it and remove our mentality of what ifs, like what if you need it to the future or for future reference. It's not a good practice anymore in this digital world to protect it. Who is handling personal data, which is not properly addressed or implemented. It says hijacking a certain amount with this regard. And we already know this one. Facebook is under investigation in the Europe for its massive leak of 533 million people's data. So these are the examples of the fines and breaches that can happen to anyone of us, not only. So it's very important that we know what this digital world and how can we cope up. So always remember that we are here also to help you and assist you in whatever terms you need in data privacy and cybersecurity. So this